What is going on, guys? Matt here. So today we're not looking at a knife. Of course, we'll see some knives on the table, but we are looking at axes, specifically the Cold Steel Axe Gang Hatchet. Now, we're going to talk a lot about these axes. We're going to talk about their style. We're going to talk about kind of the history behind this design. We're going to talk about what I like, what I dislike, something unique. You'll get some specs in there as well. But first, let's address the two axes on the table. So as you can see, they are the same axe, but this one is a good bit shorter than this one. The Cold Steel Axe Gang Hatchet comes in at about 20.5 inches in length. This is the full-size one. That I just recently got in the mail, and this is one that I have modified. So it's about 14.5 inches now, more of, kind of a packable size, more of like a hatchet size. So this is called the Cold Steel Axe Gang Hatchet, even though this full size is really an axe, Anyway, so let's talk about the design of this real quick before we get into kind of what I like and dislike about it. So this is called the Cold Steel Axe Gang Hatchet, and it is designed kind of after a Chinese axe design popularized by the Axe Gang from Kung Fu Hustle. No, I haven't seen the full movie. I've seen kind of clips. A lot of you probably have as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but this is very, very heavily designed by the axes that those guys in that gang used. And those axes, from what I understand, and again, if we have some more Chinese history guys in the comments, make sure and comment. But these are a very classic Chinese style axe with that straight blade. They are designed as self-defense weapons, but from what I know, Chinese woodcutter axe too has this kind of straight blade design. So they're very classic within that culture. And so that's kind of where we get this design element. So let's talk about some specs. So the full size one, if you haven't modified yours like I have, is 20.5 inches. Cold steel listed at 32 ounces. Apparently it's a little bit heavier from what I've heard. So we'll say around 2 pounds. And it's about a 4-inch cutting edge right there. And this is made of 1055 carbon steel. And this is hickory. I believe it's American hickory, though it is not made in America. Anyway, so those are the specs on them. Let's look at it in comparison to, let's see, a knife that you would kind of know the size of, a K-bar right here. So, almost the size of that 14.5-inch handle, which is what I cut this thing down to. So you can kind of see the size, overall size right there. Yeah, we'll just do that for comparison. We don't really need to do comparison. Let's talk about this axe. So I got this for a really good deal, and I picked this up simply because it was a really good deal. That's really the only reason. I didn't have a need for this. At the time, I had this little S-Wing that I've since given away that I used as kind of my camp hatchet if I ever went out and needed a hatchet. But I picked this up, and I was blown away by its cutting capability, by its chopping capability. And that's the first thing, and that's what gets into what I like about it. This thing has incredible chopping capability, even in its cut down size, but specifically with this 20, it's about a 17-inch handle, but this, 20.5 overall length, you can get both hands behind this, and I have put grip tape on this. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And man, does it feel incredible. It has almost near full-size axe cutting capability, axe chopping capability. And I think that the power comes really behind that well-designed wedge. It's relatively thin for a while, and then it gets thicker, and so it splits pretty well as well. Maybe not as well as other axes, but it really just bites in. I love the design of this. Another reason it bites in is you just have this straight blade. Now, this isn't as good for if you wanted to use this for slicing. I know a lot of people like their hatchets to kind of be multi-purpose tools, but all of this is contacting equally. And because of that, it bites in, it digs in super, super well. You can see, let's see if I can get this as well to show you guys that this also is ground very nicely as well. So both ground really, really nicely, both well done. The cutting, chopping capabilities of these, even in the shorter version that, I've kind of customized, fantastic, outstanding, very, very well done. Another thing I like is I really, really appreciate this handle. So this handle, while it is straight and there's not a ton to kind of, you don't have a curve like a standard axe, like a larger axe. Again, it's different design. It's Chinese in origin, right? So you have this very straight blade or straight handle. Along with that, you have a lot of strength because this is a nice thick hickory handle. And also, you can mod it so easily, guys. You could shave this down, take the polyurethane or whatever that coating is off. You could stain it. You could, put patterns on it that would provide grip. I, like here, clearly have put some grip tape on it. So I really, really like this handle, not only for looks, but for strength as well. I think that hickory is just a great, great handle material for axes. And I really do prefer it over, the synthetic axes that have been around. I don't feel absorb as much shock. So what else do I like? I like that this just has multi capabilities as well. Yes, this is from what I know, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. This is a defensive weapon, right? You have options to kind of use it as a stabbing weapon almost, because you have that flare up. You guys can see that right there. So that right there is, protruding out from the top of the axe. So again, from what I know, fantastic defensive weapon, but also, guys, just great woods crafting tool as well. So I think I love a tool like this one, multi-use, right? Can be a defensive weapon, God forbid, if you need one, but also very effective woods knife, very effective hunting knife. It just has multiple uses, and that's what I appreciate about tools, about knives, anything like that. I want it to have multiple uses, and this has that. Another thing I like is, for this size and the capability you're getting, that weight is really not far off. Now, some of my backpackers out there, and I'm one of you guys, I maybe don't do the 14-day backpacking trips, but I do, 2-3 day backpacking trips, sometimes over 25, almost 30 miles. So I know weight is a big deal, right? For over 2 pounds, that's just too much for you guys. And I get that. If you don't need a big axe like this, don't bring it. But I did bring this one on my last trip before I had cut it down in its full version. So around 35 ounces, I am so glad I did, because it was a really cold trip and we needed a lot of firewood, something that if I had brought something like this, I just could not have gotten the amount of firewood. Even something like this, this is still a capable tool, but it just does not have the hacking capabilities. And this was a lifesaver on that trip. So even though it is heavy and there are lighter hatchets, you can find many, many lighter hatchets that are still capable for what you get and how powerful of a tool this is. I think that it's relatively lightweight, and I think that you're getting a lot for what you're getting. So I really appreciate the weight, and I really appreciate the, just the overall performance of what you get for this size. Okay. What do I not like? Well, it's really just one thing. Under this grip tape, there are Chinese characters. I certainly don't have any problem with having Chinese characters on this. It's a Chinese axe. That's kind of its design. And so I think that makes sense that you would have Chinese characters on this. I'm not sure what language they're in. I know there's, Cantonese and Mandarin. But anyway, the thing is they're painted on. And to me, painting on those things feels a little bit kitschy. You can see that we have some etching right here. And it looks like, so you have this paint right here, which is just keeping it from rusting. Clearly this has been used. Some of you guys are like, well, I haven't seen the usage footage. I mean, look at this. What do you think? I just threw a bunch of dirt on this thing. I've used this a ton. I'm giving you guys a data point from a lot of use. But these parts were, it looks like, etched out of the paint. And I think that's actually cool, because it's etched into there. It's not going to be removed easily. It's not painted on. It's like a laser etch essentially. So I actually quite like that. But painted on Chinese characters that literally started to wear off after a couple times of use, I think that's kind of lame. It's a little kitschy. So I would prefer if they weren't on there. That's really all I can say about dislike. Everything else about it, its price. I didn't talk about price in specs, but these are like $25 for 1055 high carbon steel for a well-ground blade, nice straight hickory handle, and the grains, guys, pretty well done. You can see this grain is the orientation of the grain is nice. You want an orientation to be straight for that to be strong. So you can see these aren't the same shade. It's different hickory. I think that's cool. So yeah, straight grained. So I think that's great. There's not really anything else I can say aside from those Chinese characters. I will say this one thing though, and in addition to what I don't like, It didn't come very sharp. Sure, you could have cut wood with it and it was, let's say, usable out of the box. Just barely though. It really needed work out of the box. So, but for the price we're getting, it took me 5 minutes on my stone and it was very sharp. Plenty axe sharp at that point. So that's really all I can say that I dislike about them. Guys, these are really cool tools. So much so that I got 2 of them. You know, I have one that I can bring with me in my pack and one that I can use outdoors or, you know, keep by the bedside if I wanted to, though I have a firearm for that. But, you know, I think they're really, really fun. You know, so much so I have 2, so much so I got a trainer. I want to learn some of the, you know, the axe moves too, just for fun, and maybe I'd get involved in, you know, some HEMA or something someday. I've always wanted to do something like that. So I think they're absolute recommend for the price. Pick up a couple. You know, you can cut one down, even shorter than this if you wanted to, right? You can use them for throwing. A lot of people use them for throwing. And rehanging an axe head really isn't that difficult. I've done it once before. You know, once you've done it once, you kind of know the structure and how to do that. So these are easily replaceable. You can get shorter, longer handles, cut them down. I just think they're really versatile tools, very powerful weapons as well, and I absolutely recommend them. I absolutely recommend them. I can't believe I did that. I kept saying I wasn't going to. I had to. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, pick up one of these. Pick up a couple of these, especially if this design, you know, connects with you. So that's all I got for you on this video. Thank you so much for watching. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so please like and subscribe. And let me know what you'd like to see next. You know, I want to do a review on this SP5. Let me know what you guys think of this SP5. By the way, I have thoughts on it. Most of which are positive, but not all of which. Anyway, let me know what you'd like to see reviewed next. It can be anything. It can be tools, axes, swords. I'd love to do some swords. Anyway, let me know when you guys want to see reviewed next, and we will catch you in the next video. Peace.